Welcome to the Running Back Podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to 1992 and we're running back Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And you said you really didn't remember a whole lot of the movie, but you remember being scared by it.
I've only watched it once when I was a kid. Good chance that I watched it at a drive-in when it came out. So it came out July of 1992, which means I would have been 7 years old.
So, okay, I could see.
I would have turned 8 in October.
Maybe a wuss 7-year-old being scared of this.
It says PG-13. I was definitely a wuss. But this is the first time I've watched it since then. I didn't remember much about it. There were like 2 or 3 key scenes that I remember. I remember being scared of those scenes, in particular at nighttime. But I'll talk about it when we get there.
Nice.
But I am definitely ashamed that I was afraid of it now, because wow.
So like always, we've watched a movie. We have it playing on mute in the background as we talk about it, just to kind of remind us of things. So the movie opens up
in the Dark Ages.
In the Dark Ages. I was getting there.
It's very important.
It's a flashback to Merrick, who
the Watcher
finds the Slayers, which all have to be girls. I have questions when we get to that part.
They are all girls. They all have the Mark of the Covenant, which is a gigantic hairy mole on their chest.
Yeah.
Seems like it would be something else, right? Like if you're going to have like this kind of secret order to kill the vampires, like the mark would be something cooler.
But if you want it to be secret, it just kind of look like a normal blemish.
But I mean, it could be a cooler blemish or in somewhere better. Like all of the women in my family have a birthmark in the exact same spot, and it kind of looks cool. It kind of looks like an owl. It's kind of weird. We all have it. Like, could be something cooler than a hairy mole on your chest.
So you are some kind of ancient cult.
I'm saying me, my mom, at least one of my aunts, but I think both of my aunts have this exact birthmark on my left calf.
They are all crazy.
We've been together 20 years. Did you know I had a birthmark on my left calf?
I knew you had a birthmark. So it opens up with that and kind of flashes back to present day. And you have cheerleaders in a gym at a basketball game.
It is the longest cheer routine opening. Like, I get, like, they're, playing the music and rolling the opening credits and establishing some shit. But it is a long...
I don't think there's a cheer scene in Bring It On.
It is a long cheer scene.
Also, these are not so much the girls, but these are the oldest high school dudes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Well... Luke Perry was on 90210 when this was filmed, and I think he was in his 30s when he was on 90210. So
he's fucking 30, no doubt.
Oh yeah, he absolutely definitely was. But when it goes to the current times, it says the light ages, but it doesn't say light like LIGHT.
It's Miller Lite.
It's LITE ages.
So
I didn't know it was. It says the light ages while they're going up the escalator at the mall. I thought maybe it was a pun like diet, light, these little tiny girls that are just the fucking worst.
Yeah, they're all pretty terrible.
Oh my god. Like, I really liked Clueless when I was growing up, and these people are way worse than the Clueless people. Way worse. The scene that's on right now, they're arguing about which theater they want to go watch a movie at.
I thought that was weird. They had choices.
They had so many choices.
We had the drive-in or the movie theater.
Well, they're in LA. But she was like, no, not that one. It doesn't even have Dolby.
Oh, wow. So while they're in the mall, Merrick he's just kind of watching Buffy.
He kind of stalker pedophiles out?
Yeah, I guess he's trying to give her the mark, and he's waiting
not
for
giving her the mark. He's
trying
seeing if she's the
give
one.
Her birthright.
Right. He's seeing if she's the one.
Well, he knows she's the one.
He said he's making sure. Because, she had her mark lasered off her skin.
Oh, she had it lasered. I thought she said she was going to get it lasered.
No, she said, ooh, that gross mole with the hair, I had it removed.
Prove it. She don't have no scars.
And she was like, just because you know about that doesn't mean anything. But right now they're in the movies.
Let's rewind back to the opening part with the gym.
Okay.
Their mascot comes out. He's scarier than the whole fucking movie is.
He is weird. I couldn't figure out
what they were for a long time because I was like, that's the worst looking dog I've ever seen.
He's a pig, but it is definitely scary. He's a hog.
He's a Hemorrhy Hogs.
All right.
Which they made a sign for one of the dances. It all kind of ran together like Hemorrhy Hog. And I was like, surely their mascots, they're not the Henry Hemorrhages in this vampire movie.
Wow.
So they go to the movie and they are sitting in front of Pike, which is Matthew Perry's character, and David Arquette's character.
You need to stop fucking talking.
What?
Matthew Perry is Chandler from Friends. That's goddamn Luke Perry, and I will divorce you over some nonsense like that.
Luke Perry. Whatever.
No. Not whatever. It is serious.
The whole
that
movie
is
I
an
was
infraction.
going, she liked him.
Luke Perry?
Yeah.
Everybody liked Luke Perry.
It was just... I think what was weird is that the girls do look younger, and he looks 30, and it's like... It gives you that uneasy feeling, like...
But on 90210, everybody was 30, so everybody looked the same age. Except for Andrea, who looked 50. Like, she somehow looks younger in the reboot now than she did then.
Like, when something's off and you don't know about it, it just makes you feel uneasy. Like, when Stanley Kubrick kept making things in the scenes purposefully wrong, like the chair would be on one side, and it would cut to the face, and when it come back to, like, the full scene, the chair would be flipped the other way.
What are you talking about?
In The Shining. I forgot to say that. But Stanley Kubrick would do that in the scenes on purpose. He would just move shit in the background to make you feel uneasy.
This entire movie made me uneasy. But yes, everybody liked Luke Perry.
Did you like young O.J. Simpson giving the news report here that people were dying?
Well, that's a very, classic movie trope, right? Like, they're reporting on the news that this horrible thing's happening and nobody's listening to it. Like, they kind of spoofed it in Shaun of the Dead. Like, they flipped through all the channels and they're telling it, but nobody's paying any attention.
Yeah. And, by the way, it wasn't really O.J. Simpson. The guy just looked like cheap knockoff.
How about they leave the movies? Well, they're in the movies, sitting in front of them, and they are just being the worst humans. Yeah, just loud and talking.
They're in front of Luke Perry. And
holy shit, he almost did it again.
What is David Arquette's character's name?
Benny.
They're in front of them, and they're kind of throwing a fit that they're just yapping, ruining the movie for them.
Which, rightfully so. Like, I have gotten up, walked to the back of a movie theater, and threatened a teenager if they didn't shut the fuck up.
They quickly left. Now they moved back. They moved further back.
I had some things to say.
I was laughing.
What were they doing? They were talking, but they were shining a light or something, weren't they? They were
they were just...
They were bothering me.
They were just loud. Like, when you're in a movie theater and you're like, hey, that's so blah, 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 blah. They weren't like that. They were just like, hey, blah, blah, blah.
Do you remember when we went to the movies and one of our friends answered their cell phone in the movie? I wanted to die.
Who was that? Oh.
There was a lot of mouthing of the name going on there. I didn't want to be like, hey, this person's a horrible person. Yeah. I wanted to die, and that was the last time I went to the movies with them.
Yep. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, you go to the mall scene. It shows some BS about the full moon. Then she comes home, and her parents are leaving, and her boyfriend comes over.
Well, before she comes home, can I just say how weird it is that she, her boyfriend is in the car. He drives up. He has a passenger. She just throws herself across the passenger to, lean over and kiss the boyfriend, but just has her ass in the friend's face. And the friend's just, trying to not touch her ass, but, touching her ass.
No, he never touched
it. His hand is hovering above it. And then he asks...
He really couldn't do anything but hold his hands up.
No, it was very kind of... And then he asks if he can borrow her.
Hey, the key thing is, he asked.
I guess.
He asked.
I guess if we're giving him props, I guess he asked.
I mean, he's a douchebag, but he asked.
As long as you know he's a douchebag.
So,
but yeah, the boyfriend comes over later, and the parents
just roll out.
Pack a suitcase and leave.
They're gone for the weekend at least.
Yeah.
He's gone. Her dad's golfing. Her mom, I don't know what's...
Packed a bag and just pieced out.
But they're watching a movie as the parents are leaving. She has a bag of Jiffy Pop.
Right.
Which isn't the old school, put it on the stove. It was the microwave. But he had a bag of Doritos Light. I
was going to ask you about that.
And I was like, was that a thing?
I have no idea.
Found the commercial. It just had 1/3 less oil.
It wasn't made with
Everybody was just concerned about the oil.
It wasn't made with that shit your pants are Lustra or anything?
Oh god, no, it just had less. You know how many people, when I was a kid, and they just throw a bag of Doritos at a group of kids, how long that bag lasted? We'd all shit ourselves.
If it had Olestra in it?
Yeah, we would all shit ourselves.
Yeah, I had no idea Doritos Light was a thing.
So they're doing the whole watching movie thing. They start making out. And then I guess it just kind of skips back to the flashback of one of the previous Slayers. And she comes in this room, saves this person from getting chowed down by a vampire. The vampire tries to roll out, and I thought she was just going to let things be. She jumps out the window of a second story to land on this dude and kill him. Mm-hmm. And then Lothos comes through, and I feel like she gave up way too easy for somebody that jumps out the fucking building.
Well, I mean, you figure it out later, but like, if she looks at him in the eye, he's able to like control her mind so she can't do anything.
That's what it was.
Yeah, she just can't do anything.
That's weird. That's a odd dynamic for...
Well, you know, vampires can control your mind.
I'm sure there are people out there...
It's like Hotel Transylvania, where Dracula controls everybody's mind.
I guess. So...
But here, the big news here. The number one takeaway from this movie for me. They're in this bar, whatever this is here.
Yeah, that's where I was going to get to.
They're in this bar.
The girls are in... It's not really a bar. It's more like a kids' nightclub. The girls are there talking. Pike and Benny come in. They're kind of tanked. They throw some change at the waitress and just say, "What does this look like?" And she kind of looks at it like 2 coffees and a hot dog. I don't know who's pairing.
No. It's 2 coffees or 1 hot dog with nothing on it and nothing inside it. So they bring the 1 hot dog. Luke Perry eats a bun. And David Arquette eats a weenie.
No, he doesn't eat the weenie. He just grabs the weenie.
Well.
And he sticks his weenie. He says he's got something for Buffy. He sticks the hot dog out like it's his dick. And she splits it right down the middle.
Yeah, she does.
But then, I think what you're getting to is the number one takeaway.
Yes, they're walking through, like, the street. It's dark. And he starts talking about the girl's boobs. And he was like, they're yabos, which blew my mind because last week in Hocus Pocus, the little girl calls Allison's boobs yabos. And I was like, is that like a regional thing? Because I've never heard that before.
I don't remember.
But apparently, if you're in California, please tell me, do you call boobs yabos?
I wouldn't say anymore. So Pike and Benny roll out just on the side of the road and they're drunk.
They're way too drunk to be that close to that cliff.
Yeah. So Benny thinks he's going to puke. Pike kind of rolls over. It's like, "I'm here for you." And he just kind of lays down on the ground. A vampire, I keep forgetting his name, Pee Wee Herman's character.
I wrote it down because I kept forgetting as well. Amelin.
So he comes up and, I guess, makes a meal out of Benny.
Well, he doesn't eat, he just turns him.
But it's weird. In this movie, I don't know if it's the same way in the TV series, they kill him and they come back from the dead?
Apparently.
Changed?
I thought
that was weird.
I don't really know.
Because everything else I've always watched is like, if they just beat you and took a little bit of blood, you change, and if they took all your blood, you die.
Right.
So you got Buffy and these fake bitches having...
Luke Perry, Pike, passes out, so the vampire doesn't see him, and Merrick happens along in his car. He's like, "This is not a safe place for you to be," and puts him in his car and takes him home.
So Merrick basically saves him.
Right. Then it goes to Buffy and her
to the gym.
People. And she's teaching them a cheer, and like they're paying attention to her. She's teaching it like they don't know it.
And then they're done.
No. It is like the first cheer every little like 4-year-old that's cheering at like a pee-wee basketball game learns. But they are seniors in high school, and she's like teaching them this very basic cheer, and they're like, "Oh, okay. I was like, y'all couldn't have asked somebody for something more complex? Anyway, it wasn't important. Just, I thought that was so weird.
So you got them in the gym. Everybody else leaves. She stays around to do some flip-flops. In her makeshift yoga pants, which I can only assume somebody had some nostalgia for these workout stuff from the 90s and just sewed the short part onto the leg part.
Well, this is 92.
And Merrick's just sitting there watching her like a creep.
He's so creepy.
Like
and she
big
just...
old pedophile. She
turns around and she's like, "Oh, are you looking for somebody? You scared me. Oh." And she just talks to him. And I was like, no, he is in a full...
The moment he's like, I'm here to bring you your birthright. I'd have been like, peace.
We gotta go to the graveyard. Like, he's wearing a full trench coat, gloves, a scarf, a hat. Just being creepy as shit talking to her.
Shit throughout the whole movie, and nobody else has a jacket. Not like does he just never get hot?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like his immortality or what, but it's very creepy. But he's dressed in a way that she should have kicked him in the head and ran.
Oh yeah, and she's always got one of these stupid ass little scarves on. What's up with that?
I think it's so she can put it in her hair and hold her hair back, but I'm not gonna swear to it. Again, I was 7 in 92, so... But she doesn't believe anything he says until...
He starts talking about her
dreams. So she's never told anybody about, because she dreams that she was all the people before, all the Slayers before
her. Dreams are basically actual past memories of the previous Slayers.
Right, like her past lives.
Well, now, guess it's a spoiler alert, I don't really care for this movie. But I'm more interested in this whole start of the Slayer thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what started it? Who decides? Like, he doesn't really decide she's the Slayer. He just looks for it. Like,
he just knows.
He just looks for it like the Dalai Lama. He's just out there looking for it. She realizes that she's never told anybody those dreams. He knows about them, and she agrees to go to the graveyard. Now, it is, I'm assuming, about 4:30 in the afternoon when practice ends.
Yeah.
It is 4:30 in the morning.
It's not 4:30 in the morning. It's not 4:30 in the morning, but it is dark.
Shit.
It is dark.
Did they walk 18 miles to this other graveyard?
I don't know. It's definitely dark though.
So he takes her to the graveyard to
wait for the vampire to wake up. Bitten vampire.
New vampire
to wake up.
Larva to break out of their graves, and he has her sit on one.
Well, he hands her a stake and a cross, and she sits down on a grave, and he just doesn't move her.
But he just kind of like, hey, I'm going to prove this to you, but also I'll throw you a little test.
Test you, right.
So...
What do you think? He says later that, like, he's been alive for hundreds of years and blah, 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 blah. What do you think he did in his first life to get saddled with this bitch over and over and over again throughout history?
But she's different. She's different. He's not.
Is she different? Because isn't she the same, like, isn't it the same face that jumps out of that window and kills that vampire?
Maybe, but...
Yeah.
I feel like it's more...
Still.
He remembers. She does.
Right. I mean, her personalities and stuff are different, but to be saddled with this girl, oh my God. Like, she gets better, but first 30, 45-minute Buffy is just unbearable.
Understand, the people she's hanging out with, those fake-ass girls, they're the worst.
She has zero real friends. They are awful people.
She has zero real friends until she starts kind of paying attention to Pike without blowing him off. So Buffy ends up throwing down in the graveyard and kind of being...
She kills both vampires.
I guess shows herself that this guy might be legit.
Right.
One of her other fake friends gets taken away by Pee Wee Herman.
Amelin. You're giving Pee Wee Herman a bad name here. He didn't take her home and teach her the word of the day.
No.
They didn't ask. What? Zombie?
Zombie? Maybe. It all runs together.
Make a hot.
So, after this, is he still hungover?
I think Pike is hungover. After the cemetery scene where she kills the vampires, it goes to Pike's house, which is like over a garage. And this is one of the scenes, one of like the 3 scenes I can remember as a child, is he wakes up and his friend Benny, who is now a vampire, is knocking on his glass, like his window, telling him to let me in. He's like, man, are you okay? You don't look so good. He's like, I'm fine. I'm hungry. And he was like, are you standing on something? Are you on something? He's like, no, man. And he looks down. He's like, I live on the 2nd floor. Like, he is just floating at his window. And that, for some reason, stuck with me forever. It terrified me to death that, like, they can float up.
Now,
and the rule that they have to be invited in has forever stuck with me.
See,
and sometimes
I never had that
vampires have always been the thing that scared me. the most, like, of any of, like, the creepy creatures, like vampires, werewolves, zombies, it's fucking vampires. They scare me. And still to this day, sometimes when I let the dogs in late at night, I'm like, it's totally fine, because you have to ask the vampires to come in. So as long as they're not named Moxie or River, I'm totally chill here.
So
yeah, that's my psychology. That's what you're living with, honey.
Only until recently I was listening to a show or a podcast, and they were talking about, that they can't come in unless you invite them in. And I was like, okay, maybe that's their stupid rule. I did not know this was a real
It is a rule
thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how. Like, I've watched a lot of vampire stuff.
What podcast are you listening to?
The Dungeons and Daddies podcast.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it was part of the storyline. But you watch Supernatural all the time. I've watched that.
I don't think it's a rule in Supernatural. They just kind of come in Supernatural.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But it is a rule in other zombie
I had
movies.
to do some
or
research,
other vampire movies.
Because at one point, what's Pee Wee Herman's character's name?
Amelin
punches through the van. And I was like, don't you gotta be invited in?
I thought that too. I guess maybe it only applies to your house.
Like, when I was looking it up, it was the owner of the house has to invite him in.
Right. You're gonna have some weird sponsored ads now. Did you go incognito to search that up?
No, I didn't.
You're on a list.
Yeah. So, I thought it was the whole invite me thing I had to look up. Buffy gets home from her graveyard excursion. All, like, hair's a mess. Her clothes are dirty. She looked like she's been in a brawl.
She has blood on her chin. Probably her boyfriend's Letterman jacket is covered in dirt. She looks awful, and her mom's just like, do you know what time it is? And, like, you think she's going to yell at her and be a mom. And she's like, about 10. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Where the fuck is this bitch going at 10 o'clock? You are old. You have a daughter who is a senior in high school. Put some face cream on and go to bed.
Now, what I thought was weird, she cleans up, and then she puts this ribbon in her hair to go to bed. What is that about?
Well, this is a dream, but she does wake up from the dream with it in. I don't know what that is about, but this is the other scene that I remember. This is creepy. This is the other scene that I can remember. She ties the ribbon in her hair, she lays down in bed, and the main vampire, I guess, Lothos, is propped up against her headboard, and she doesn't realize that she lays down on him, and he, like, gets her bear and gives it to her. And that used to terrify me when I was little. Like, I hated to get in the bed. And to make matters worse, the bed I slept in had, like, a big headboard with, like, a big glass mirror in the middle. So if you weren't really paying attention, like, you rolled over, you'd catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. And it would, like, pee my fucking pants terrify me. But you admit, that's creepy as hell. That scene was a little creepy when she got into bed and he's just, like, sitting there. And he's obviously sitting in a way that she's kind of in between his legs, just kind of laying back like you would watch a movie sitting in the floor or something. Right, like I would sit, like, in the floor between your legs and watch a movie.
So, she has this weird-ass dream.
Creepy as hell.
She's supposed to meet Merrick somewhere the next day and skip cheerleading practice. She's in the locker room. He's creepy again. Chilling in the girls' creepy. Locker room. She's like, you can't be in here. This is a naked place. And he's like, hey, you were late. What's up? You were supposed to skip. So they...
Also found this really weird that she takes one Q-tip out of her locker and just cleans that one ear while he's talking to her.
I guess that's the ear that was bothering her.
It's just so weird. Like, how often does she clean her ears before cheerleading practice?
But this is when you find out Buffy's got some spice to her. Like, she fucking punches him in the nose.
Well, she keeps telling him, I'm not your girl. And he said, okay, bye then. And then he said, I'll wait, one more thing. And turns around and throws a fucking knife.
That's a knife.
Big old knife at her, and she just catches it. And that makes her mad.
Well, yeah.
He was like, you threw a knife at my head.
I thought it was weird. He was like, oh yeah, there's one more thing. And then did the whole
curl his evil mustache up.
Like, fix my mustache real quick.
Yeah. She gets very mad that he threw the knife at her head. And he's like, I had to show you. I had to prove it to you. And he sits down on a bench. And they get into a little argument about how he threw a knife at her head, and she just punches him in the face, and it, like, scoots him back on the bench.
And he's like, yeah, he's like, she said I've never punched anybody before. And he was like, but you did it right or whatever.
You did it perfect. And that inspired her. Because then it just goes straight into her 1980s training montage.
Where she was not punching that heavy bag correctly at all. She's going to break her wrist, her elbow. And then, like, she's doing some weird stuff. Like, starts doing those taekwondo kicks at the end where she's jumping towards it. And then, like, she kicked it, stood up, and turned around, and the bag hits her in the back. I thought that was funny.
I didn't notice that. But this is where I wrote down in my notes that he has that coat, that hat, and those gloves on, even when inside all the damn time. There is one scene later where he takes the gloves off, but...
Then, there's a scene where Buffy's running late into school. The principal sees her. He eventually calls her into the office. Basically thinks she's on drugs and all this other stuff. But there's a fly. Like, no matter what he's saying, you hear this fly buzzing around. You can tell it's bothering her.
Right.
She grabs a thumbtack off the thing and puts it in her mouth like a savage. I don't know. Who knows what virus she came up with that one.
She had to blow dart it.
She spits this tack into the fly, pins it to the wall.
Yeah, and their discussion was over.
Yeah, that was it. That's all. Like,
they
didn't address it at all.
He was busy telling her about his acid trip at a concert.
So then she's doing her training, and they lure a vampire into an alley to kill it.
Right.
And here's where you learn that she has menstrual vampire radar.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, her fallopian tubes
do.
start twitching whenever
You kind of do in the graveyard when he's first proven to her that it's real. Because she says, ow, and he was like, cramps? And she was like, yes, if you must know. And then, like, it keeps happening. Like, it happens 3 or 4 times before he tells her that it's, like, her spidey sense.
They couldn't come up with a better spidey sense? Like,
I guess maybe that's why it always has to be a girl.
The fallopian tube vampire radar?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes 0 sense, but it makes sense.
I don't know. Why else does it always have to be a girl? Here's your one product placement. I know how you love a good product placement.
We've already had Doritos Light.
Oh, okay.
Jiffy Pop.
My bad.
And now she got some Nike.
She got like the
wrestling shoes. Yeah, with some leg warmers.
Like Nike wrestling shoes. It was very weird.
So you learn about her menstrual vampire radar, and then I thought it was weird. It was like he spends all of his lives training girls to be slayers. Why does it always have to be a girl? And I guess you've pointed out that they have menstrual cramps.
You gotta have a uterus to see if a vampire's near. I don't know.
So you think everywhere Blade goes, he's just causing cramps everywhere?
Could be.
What if they're already pregnant? Like, does your vampire radar go away if you're pregnant?
I wouldn't imagine, because you still have the parts.
Yeah, but you're...
How could Bella even be near whatever the fuck that fuckboy's name was? Edward.
What are you talking about?
Those are the Twilight people, right?
Twilight. That's not a real vampire movie.
I haven't seen it. I couldn't tell you.
She didn't have her radar up.
I guess.
Like, if you have a hysterectomy, can you not be a slayer?
I don't think so.
This is an interesting question.
What part is it? Is it the uterus? Is it the fallopian tubes? Like, I've had my tubes tied. Is that going to affect it?
I'm guessing the only real thing that causes the cramps is the uterus pushing
the uterus
out the
hurts.
lining.
Right.
Contracting.
So I would still be fine.
So if you have a full hysterectomy.
You know, in 2 weeks when I start my period, I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, there's vampires everywhere.
I'm trying to remember. Hysterectomy, do they leave the uterus? Or do they take it?
They take it.
So, you can't be a slayer then.
I don't think so.
Damn. Sucks for those people.
I mean, I don't think that became a real problem until, fairly recently here.
So...
We really went.
So, okay, well, the scene that's on is Pike's rolling out of his job where he's a mechanic. And if you're rolling out, like, it seems like a weekend kind of deal. He's rolling out. He doesn't get his paycheck to leave.
He just wants out. He wants...
Why did he go to work if he just wants out?
Because that van didn't work. He had to go fix the van.
True.
He had to go fix the van. He needed out. Because he was like, have you seen Benny lately? And he was like, no. Why? He was like, you don't want to. He's like, is there a message you want me to give him? He's like, no. Stay away from him. He's like, well, what do I do if I do see him? And he's like, run. Because, you can't be like, hey, Benny's a vampire now because they're going to freaking commit your ass.
Yeah, you get, like, when something starts happening, it always makes me wonder, like, when I see somebody in the street and you know that they're fucking batshit crazy, and then
Like
you have
the end is near people?
not worse than that, like, when they're real specific, and you're like, you blow that person off, and then 5 minutes later you have a split second thought, be like, what if they're the only, like, sane person around? Like, they're legit, like, telling the truth, and we're all just walking away from not believing because we think they're crazy.
I would say one of my top 5 fears is being, like, completely sound mind, telling the truth, nobody believing me and committing me, and being in, like, an insane asylum, but totally the only one that knows what's up. I don't know if that came from, like, was it Ghostbusters 2 or what, but something inside of me was like, they're going to commit me. Pike's leaving town.
Out of town. The vampires show up. But he stopped somewhere along the way. And then
I think the van stopped. Yeah.
So he's trying to get it to start. He sees nothing in the mirror, but when he turns around, there's 2 people walking behind his van.
Right.
Third guy comes, Amory.
Nope.
Amory? No.
Amelin.
You
want to write that down on your paper? Amilyn.
So he, last ditch effort, gets the van to start.
Right.
Backs into the 2 other vampires, tries to get away.
Pulls forward and Amelin.
Amelin gets on top and he punches through the roof. Here's where Pike messed up. Pike should have never went off-road in this obviously unreliable vehicle. Right.
It looks like if the mystery machine started smoking meth.
Like, he should have stay on the main road so this car can handle it. Because I don't think you can go 30 miles an hour off-road in that van. I think it would have shook him to death. Rolled over. So, he's got to stay on the road so he can have more control of where he's going. But I think that's where he messed up, and he wouldn't have gotten in so much trouble. But Buffy comes in and saves his ass.
Well, old boy punches. You just want to call him the bottom bitch? He's Lotho's bottom bitch is what he is. He punches through the top of the van, and
I was like, why doesn't he have to be invited in?
Bump or something, and it rips off his fucking arm.
Yeah.
So now old boy just has an arm in his van.
And Pike later calls him Lefty.
Yeah.
The arm he doesn't have.
And then he hits a tree. So the van's disabled. He hops out of the van. I still don't know if that's the move. And thankfully Buffy runs in and saves his ass. He has a guitar that went through the windshield and smashed everywhere. And they start using pieces of it to stab the vampires through the heart. And old bottom bitch just rolls out and leaves his homeboys.
Yeah.
And he gets yelled at about it later by Lothos.
Yeah, you never leave a man behind.
Yeah. He was like, it was their first feeding and you just left them. I don't know how you made it through the Crusades.
So Buffy brings Pike home.
Right, she takes him to like her friggin' mansion.
She's
parents still not there.
Kind of having a moment where she's freaking out a little bit. But in the middle, you're talking to a strange man in your living room, and he was like, "Are you calling me a man?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, dude, you're fucking 34 years old."
Oh.
Why are you messing with this high school chick? You're too old for this shit.
He was supposed to be in high school too. Poor Luke Perry.
But he kind of knows that she's going through things, and it looks like he doesn't have.
He was 26. I just Wikipedia'd him. He was 26 in 1992.
You could tell he wasn't as. His family wasn't. You don't even really meet his family. It looks like he was living on his own.
Yeah, I think he was by himself
already. So he had some adversity in his life already, and he kind of knew. So he tells her, I understand.
Right.
But he said he's going to chill there until at least the sun comes up.
Yeah, because she was like, I'm going to go to bed. You can go to bed too if you want to sleep in the guest room. And he was like, I'll just sit here and wait until the sun comes up. I was like,
he doesn't know they have to be invited.
I was like,
or else he would have slept just fine.
I was like, but you're in a weird, you're just in the dining room of this place. Like, wait for her parents to come home.
But then old grab-ass gets his ass kicked.
What?
So, Buffy's boyfriend's friend, the one that she laid across.
Right.
Like, she walks in school and he just, smacks her right in the ass. And kind of like one of those shocking things. She just fucking judo flips him.
She grabs his arm, flips him over, slams him to the ground, and she became my hero in that moment.
Yeah. And dude's like, her boyfriend says to his friend, "Keep off my thing." And she's like,
that made me mad too.
I can handle myself.
That made me mad too. He's like, good to be appreciated. Like, well, movies full of ass hats. But that's such a great move. Like, I want to learn that. Like, I've had my ass grabbed in bars and shit, and that's such a fucking boss-ass power move.
You grab the arm, throw it over your shoulder.
Oh my god, could you imagine how
into
quick that confrontation would have ended in that bar?
At that point, I would have slow clapped.
I mean, I think even his friends would have clapped for me.
Oh, they definitely weren't very...
They weren't going to help
happy with him either. So, you got this basketball game.
Right. She says, Merrick doesn't want her to go cheer at the game. And she was like, I have to. It's the big game. If I don't cheer, people are going to think it's weird. And the vampires are going to know who I am. Because he tells her she has to go on about her daily routine. The vampires can't learn who she is or they'll start hunting her instead.
Yeah. So, one of the basketball players, the douchey guy.
Right.
He got bit towards the beginning of the movie. Just randomly shows back up, fully dressed for the game.
Yeah. And can we talk about the basketball coach for a minute? What was his deal? Was he like the basketball coach / counselor / life coach?
Something.
/ pothead? I don't know.
He was definitely...
Like, he didn't know basketball because he was, trying to draw up plays and he's like, are we the X's or the O's? And
We're
then...
the Jimmies and the Joes.
And then that one play was happiness plus this equals...
Happiness plus teamwork.
Infinity.
Yeah.
And, it was just very hippie. And when Vampire Boy, takes off his warm-up jacket to go in the game, he hands it to the coach. He's like, thank you. And he starts folding it up. I was like, you're the weirdest basketball coach I've ever seen. But nobody notices that their friend, their teammate, is a vampire.
Because in this world, they get the pointy elf ears.
Pointy?
And their teeth come... Not only do they get the fangs, but the teeth come out.
I think that was just him, because his whole facial structure was fucked up a bit anyway.
There's a few. Yeah, he looks a little Neanderthalish.
Yeah, if he was going to be something, it would have been a werewolf.
But he always... The movies he played in, he always had that bad guy role.
But their ears are pointy, and they look like they've been crimped.
They have 2 points.
And the bottom sometimes look weird as well. I'm real into Halloween makeup and, doing the prosthetics and stuff. The Halloween ears look worse than something I would have done on Halloween. I was like, you spent, $9 million to make this movie?
7.
And my thing said 9.
Well, Wikipedia said 7.
Well, my thing said 9. Either way, if you spent more than $20, you can afford some fucking better silicone and some Prozac to fucking fix that shit.
So he's in the game and he kind of becomes a ball hog and he dunks, but he jumped
He just floats.
He jumped and then he just kind of floated down, which was really weird.
And the ref...
But immediately Buffy knows what's going on.
But the ref just goes over to the coach. He's like, man, that can't be allowed. You're going to have to get him out of here. He's like, yeah, okay.
But my problem with that was if he could do it, why, if he's on the team, why couldn't he be there?
Are you having a Teen Wolf moment?
No. I mean, basically, if he's that good, he has the grades to play, why can't he play?
Because he's a vampire. My issue is that the ref realizes, something's wrong, and he's like, hey, we got to get this guy out of the game. Not, hey, this motherfucker can fly. We should all probably abandon ship.
He just came down slowly. But I think it was more the aggressiveness. The ref didn't really notice that everybody else noticed.
Well, he gets more aggressive as it goes.
He's like, dude, you got to get him out of the game. We can't have all this.
Buffy finally runs out on the court and trips him.
Buffy runs out and does the Mortal Kombat leg sweep.
Yeah.
Toasty!
But he runs away, and she chases him, and Merrick tries to stop her, and she's like, I can't, he knows who I am. Yeah. So she has to go kill him before
But he gets away. Her out. He rats her out.
No, it's not what happens at all.
Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
They run into the Pasadena parade float area.
Yes.
And...
So, they run out of the basketball game, and then there's some bikers hanging outside the high school gym for some reason.
Yeah.
So he's like, you want to get some real power between those legs?
And she was like, yeah, I do, and just steals one of their motorcycles, and then he yells at her and calls her a dyke.
Yeah, I mean, I've never understood, like, okay, was he tactful? No. But if he shot his shot, if you shoot your shot and get shot down and you get blocked, why do you got to come back with that? Like,
he assumed she didn't want a deep dickin' from him, so she didn't want a deep dickin' from anybody.
But I've never understood that. Like, yeah, I've seen it happen.
What did our one friend used to say? Get stabbed out. She didn't want to
catch a stabbing.
She didn't want to catch a stabbing from him, so she didn't want to catch a stabbing from anybody.
Because the second time we saw Ralphie May, they went with us.
Is that what that's from?
It's from Ralphie May.
Okay.
And she thought it was hysterical.
I know she used to say it all the time.
There was something he said. It was really funny, like that night, and it just kind of it stuck with the whole group. Like,
I didn't remember that it was him at all. I just remember that she...
Rest in peace, Ralphie May.
I just remember that she always was like, we can't sit over here in this dark corner. We're going to catch a stabbing.
But that's what that was from. But I've seen it happen in bars where guys, they take a chance. They say probably some god-awful shit to begin with. And they get politely turned down. And then they turn into this raging loser. Like,
yeah.
You're definitely not dampening any underwear that way. Like, you are not doing the tweeter 2 Percocets and a beer panty dropper.
No panties were moistened in the making of this conversation.
No, there was no cotton soil today.
Oh my god. I don't even know where we are in the damn movie now.
So
she steals the motorcycle from the bikers. Jesus Christ. And at that time, Pike, Luke Perry, also sets off on his motorcycle after her.
He's got a dirt bike that they're working on, which instantly works.
Well, he's a good mechanic.
But I did notice the weird thing in the whole movie, they never showed it rain, but every time there was a scene on a motorcycle where they had to do the I'm a badass U-turn, the 180, they wet the pavement everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but it's weird because there's cars, dry, trees, everything else is dry.
They run into the Pasadena parade area. They kill the basketball player. I can't remember if she does it or if Luke Perry does it. I think Luke Perry does it. That's what I was thinking. And then Lothos comes down from one of the floats.
Lothos and one or two of his boys are hanging out on the float.
Right.
She saw Lothos, and this is what I originally did.
He was like, come here. And she turned around and looked at him and just like followed his commands.
I thought it was weird that Merrick shows up and tells Lothos she's not ready.
Right.
And I was like, why would you wait till she's ready? If she's here to kill you, then kill her and get it over with.
Well, it's weird because earlier Merrick told her that he couldn't interfere even if he wanted to, even if they're the best, even if that Slayer's the best one, he can't interfere. But then he interferes.
But like, he kind of got...
He tells Lothos she's not ready and kind of distracts him, and then he tries to kill him. He tries to drive a stake through his heart, and Lothos turns it around and kills Merrick. And then Pee Wee Herman wants to kill Buffy, and he tells her no, not yet, she's not ready, which I didn't quite get. They didn't expand on, her needing her readiness. I didn't quite get it. But Merrick tells her, which also only half-ass pans out later. Like, he's talking to her and he's like, remember the music when the music stops, and then he dies. Which we'll come back to later, but still only half-ass pans out. It's very weird. I don't get it.
So that whole deal takes place in the float lot for the Rose Bowl parade. Right. So I looked it up. They're fucking up all these people's floats.
Right.
They're like, the innards are made out of whatever they make them out of, but like all the outside wire has to be all natural, flowers, plants, all that.
Right.
I looked up, it said on average, it takes 60 volunteers, 10 hours a day for 10 days. That's 600 man hours per float. How pissed would you be You're one of those people, and you're working on like a certain section, and you had to sort all these stupid flowers.
Do they really mess up the floats though?
Yeah, she slows the bike down, and I guess doesn't know how to park it, so she just lets it go.
That is true.
Now she got lucky there because the bike hits more the trailer hitch than anything else. The basketball player throws.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Or the vampire throws Luke Perry into.
Yeah, she's grabbing like handfuls of flowers and throwing them at people.
They're just messing shit up left and right.
Yeah.
So those people gotta be pissed.
I would imagine.
And you talked about Merrick.
Merrick dies, and she's super upset. She doesn't want to do it anymore. She goes to talk to her friends, because that's what you do when you're sad, and you need to get some stuff off your chest, except for when you have the worst friends in the history of the world.
Oh, yeah, I wrote, fake ass friends.
Her friends are sitting in the gym floor getting ready for this dance they're doing. They're on, like, the dance committee, and she's like, I need to talk to you. Because they're gossiping behind her back before she gets there about how she tripped that basketball player and ran out in the middle of the game and how crazy she is. She's like, I need to talk to you. She's like, I met a guy. And they're like, you're cheating on whatever the hell her boyfriend's name is. She was like, no, he's old. He's like 50. And they're like, ooh, you're cheating on somebody that's old? That's gross. She's like, no, pay attention. Like, have you not noticed what's going on? Like, the dead bodies. And the friend that they kidnapped, the vampires kidnapped, earlier, it's like barely mentioned for a second. They find her dead. Like, she floated up. She'd been dead for a while. And they were going to have a memorial service. But it's never, like, mentioned. Nobody dwells on it. And then they act like they have no idea what's going on when she's talking about, like, haven't you noticed, like, the people dying? So, I don't know. But, like, one by one, they tell her she's dumb. The one says, you're acting like somebody from another tax bracket.
Yeah. But she's kind of realizing, like, all these things that she thought was important are not. And she had mentioned this to Pike in her house during the freaking. And then they're talking about this dance like it's so important. And if you look back, like, if you think back to high school, like, everything you thought was important back then, you don't, like, was it important at the time that you went to prom? Maybe. Because if you didn't go, would you have felt like you missed out? Whatever. But in reality,
this wasn't even her prom, though.
I know, but in reality, it wasn't. Prom is not that important. Like, there are plenty of people that don't go to prom; they're just fine.
When you're in the moment, everything is the most important thing ever.
I guess when you're young, yeah, like
whatever
you're thinking about at that time is the most important. You don't set things up on priority levels at all.
I feel like even after that, whatever you have happening at that moment is the most important thing in the world. Like, how much time and energy I put into our wedding. And now I struggle to tell you some of the details, like the songs we played when, like a first dance song or the song we, like, but at the moment, they were so important. And I changed them a million times, and I can't tell you. I can, but I have to think about it.
That's because when throughout your whole life there are certain events that you're taught, or you're not really taught, you observe and you learn to put value on that event. To some people those events don't really matter. Like, we had friends that got married just because it was going to be cheaper for their car insurance. And they called and said, hey, we're getting married. Y'all need to come in. So we left home for the weekend and we met them there where they got married.
I think their courthouse wedding upset me more than anybody else.
It upset you. They were fine with it.
I had to go to a store and, like, make her a bouquet. I was like, you have to at least have a bouquet. Yeah, you're fucking killing me.
In your mind, that was important. Like, every girl needs a bouquet.
She did need that bouquet, damn it.
But those are things that, if she didn't have that bouquet, she was just as happy having that wedding as you were having ours.
Probably. I don't know.
And I think our wedding turned out to be...
Our wedding was great. But, and this isn't like a trick question, you're not going to be in trouble later because I had to, like, think hard on it. Can you remember details? Like,
certainly.
Like the recessional song. Like, we get married and then we're walking back down the aisle. Like, can you remember that song?
No,
because I'm obsessed about what song that was going to be.
Also, probably couldn't hear it. What song was it?
We're Happy Together. We're happy together.
Yeah. But it was more like people are clapping, like telling you congratulations, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, back to Buffy here.
So Merrick dies.
Oh, that's why her friends are awful. They're drinking Diet Pepsi.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So Diet Pepsi is in the movie.
Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. That's why her friends are awful people. They're full of fucking Pepsi.
Pepsi also makes
They're the same company that makes Doritos, isn't they?
That's what I was looking up. So Doritos, Pepsi, I guess it's Pepsi Frito-Lay now. Is that what it is?
I think so. Can I just say, like, Hilary Swank, we're in the scene in the gym when she's trying to confide in him. Hilary Swank is the number one mean girl, worst friend ever. And then the other girl, I don't know her name, the black girl, she just kind of does whatever Hilary seems to say. And then the other friend, Jen, who, spoiler alert, is sleeping with Buffy's boyfriend.
He has needs too,
She seems like she wanted to stay and listen to Buffy, but like peer pressure couldn't do it.
Let's go back to Buffy in these cut-off jorts and this flannel shirt.
And the combat boots.
Like,
with
if she has a tank top, a white tank top, ties that sucker around her vest, yeah, and like a Nirvana album playing in the background.
I could see that.
Like, she's 2 years in the future right now.
But Luke Pike is just riding his motorcycle, like walking his motorcycle down the sidewalk while he's talking to her. And they stop in front of this photo booth, and she's telling him how she's going shopping. She doesn't want to be a Slayer anymore. She's getting a dress. She's going to the dance. She's done with it. He died. Merrick died because of her. She's finished. And she goes to shop, and he gets mad at her and tells her how disappointed and mad he is and rides away. And then inside the photo booth where they've been talking is Benny. And he's like, Buffy's the Slayer? And runs away to go tell on her.
So here's my question.
And it prints out his pictures and they're just all black.
When you get turned, is there like a hive mind situation where you know all this? Because Benny doesn't seem like the type to study.
I feel like they probably were just like, hey, we're looking for the Slayer. Because I assume they all are like living at the same compound or something, right?
So what is David Arquette doing now? Is he the crazy one?
All the Arquettes are crazy.
But is he the craziest one? There was a reality show we watched. I can't remember what it was. One of them was on there. I think it was him.
Are you sure it wasn't the transgender one?
No, that was a different show. But I'm pretty sure he was on one.
I don't recall.
Never mind. I'm thinking of the bald one guy that's crazy. He was on.
Yeah.
So Pike goes and tells everybody Buffy's the Slayer. So now Lothos knew she was the Slayer, but he did not know her name.
Right.
But
and he doesn't want to go find her immediately. He wants to wait till Saturday and make an entrance. He's like, I want to dance.
Lothos is apparently a showman.
He got a party.
So he's going to party. So there's a scene where Buffy's going to the dance. Pike kind of got mad that she was going to the dance because there's more important things to do.
Right.
I guess Pike's kind of falling for Buffy. Or at least, not really falling in love with her, but it's more like he cares about her in the sense that she's a friend at this point. So you see him getting ready to go to the dance. You see her getting a dress. They cut to this dance. It's like Night at the Roxbury with DJ Slash. It's the worst Slash impersonator I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, just stop talking. I have breaking news.
What?
You ask what David Arquette is up to now. And on Wikipedia, it is under professional wrestling career.
Oh, shit.
There is a lot of information, but I'm going to skip to the last one, the last entry. On May 23rd, 2019, Arquette made his debut on Being the Elite, where he attempted to convince Nick and Matt Jackson to allow him to enter the over-the-budget Battle Royale at Double or Nothing. Neither of them recognized him at first, however they eventually recall his WCW World Championship reign, but still refused to let him compete, instead giving him a double super kick. Now, I'm not a wrestling fan, I've never watched it, nothing I just said meant shit to me, but apparently that's what he's up to.
Alright, so they walk into this dance. It's Night at the Roxbury with DJ Slash.
Okay.
And like I said, he's the worst Slash impersonator ever, but you're like, dude, he's definitely trying to be Slash.
I didn't notice or...
You didn't even notice it?
I didn't notice or think about that, but I mean, I guess, okay.
But
But poor Buffy here walks up to her friends. And
her fake
in her
friends.
pretty dress. Like, that is the prettiest dress. Like, I want that fucking dress. We get to renew our vows. I'm getting married in that dress. She walks up to her fake ass friends and she's like, hey, what the fuck's her boyfriend's name? I don't
Buffy's
know.
boyfriend.
It was like, where's, blah, blah, blah. I thought he would be here. I'm looking for him. And they just start laughing.
Yeah,
and they
are terrible
They
people.
point and she sees him and she walks up to him and she's like, I thought we were going to come together. And he was like, we talked about this. And like Jenny, whatever, walks around the corner. Her like
Jenny from the block?
Yeah, her little friend. And he was like, we're together now. We talked about this. And she's like, no, we didn't. He was like, I left you a message.
Yeah. What
He was like,
care.
you broke up with my answering machine?
Like, if you're in a relationship with a person, or you're even friends with a person, and you have the ability to go see that person in real life, to tell them, hey, I don't want to see you anymore, I don't want to hang around.
I definitely got an email once.
Like, don't do that.
Or like Sex in the City, where somebody broke up with Carrie on a Post-it note.
A Post-it note. Wow.
Yeah.
What's worse, a voicemail or a Post-it?
A Post-it note? I mean, you at least have to say the words on a voicemail.
True, you were at least going to try to tell them.
Like, he just scribbled, we're done, or we need a time, or something. I can't remember what it was now. On a Post-it note and, like, stuck it to her laptop.
But I feel that way with anything. Like, if you need something now, or you're gonna tell somebody that's important, you need to actually, one, I think it should be in person. Two, don't leave a voicemail, don't text them. Like, actually try to get them on the phone.
Right.
This is
But the friend he broke up with her for, and I mean this in the nicest way, but I think she had, like, the ugly friend of the group kind of thing happening, because like she was the last one to leave. She didn't really want to, but she came to the peer pressure. I think she was supposed to be like the ugly friend of the group.
She definitely wasn't ugly.
No, but of the group. And like I think he just picked some low-hanging fruit. But Pike comes to the dance and he sees her.
Lower your standards, up your average.
He sees her leaning up against the props. Walks over, gives her a flower. Now they're dancing and kissing on the floor. Her friends do not like that.
No,
like they are making mad fun of her for that.
Tax bracket.
Right.
But they're also like those are the same friends.
Oh, I do see it. He is trying to be Slash.
Those are the same friends that later in life, when they're unhappy with everything they do, will realize that none of that matter. Like,
oh, they definitely peaked in high school.
Oh yeah. You should never peak better.
They definitely peaked in high school, and they're all dumb as shit. Like they are going to need to bank on like a smart ass rich husband, or else they're just going to live under a bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, they all probably have trust funds, but...
So you said... But the vampires come in. Or they
break all the
surround
windows.
the building, kind of.
And they open the doors and they are, like, standing in the doorway. And Buffy tells them it's okay, they can't come in unless they're invited. And one of her friends was like, we did invite them, they're seniors.
But this part's weird. So they basically say, hey, you're coming out or we're coming in. Something's happened. Buffy... And the best part of Pike's whole thing was he brought all the wooden stakes.
Right.
He was like, we got a lot of problems, but I got a bag of solutions. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I thought that was great. But he also, I thought it was weird that he was giving her the jacket when she goes to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But the jacket's leather. So it's more for protection than it is for anything else. But
she's mostly naked. Yeah. She has on tulle.
She is so dumb for walking right out into the group, though. Like, she was smart enough in the beginning with Merrick that she led that one down away from his group, led him down an alley, and killed him by himself. Like, she just kicks this door open,
well, I think
walks out, there's like 10 of them.
I think she's more focused on getting them away from the gym. So she throws her bag of steaks and then just, like, twirls through them all. But they're not going to hurt her anyway. Like, they're leading her into a trap. Like,
she doesn't really know that.
They force her over the fence, and then she runs into into the school, and she finds Amlin, and then he kind of fucks with her until she runs into a door, and she's like, or you could go behind door 3, which is where...
Yeah, but she was just like, I'm going to throw my bag, do a cartwheel and a round off, and we're going to get through this.
But as she runs past, like, she jumps past them, she jumps over the fence, and her... I guess, ex-boyfriend and her former friend are doing it in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important for later.
He's getting some power between those legs.
Apparently. They're in high school. I doubt it's very powerful.
Let's see. So, here's the thing I thought was weird. She walks back into the school, but she leaves the door open. You play a video game. You open a door, you walk in. What do you immediately do?
Shut the door.
You close the fucking door.
Yeah.
That way you hear it open so you could turn around when you need to. You close the door. Like playing Dead Island.
But he doesn't come through the door. He jumps through that window.
But still, you heard him jump through the window. Or he could have walked through the door and just came up behind her and got her.
Still.
So,
but she runs down into that basement.
Like a boiler room.
And what the hell's the main vampire's name?
Lothos.
He's sitting there playing a violin, but Amlin follows her. And he's telling her something. He was like, I can do anything. And she's like, clap!
I thought that was great.
I thought that was funny.
So
she kills him. She sticks the stake through his heart and kills him.
But does she though?
But he has the longest ass, over the top fucking death scene.
He comes back twice.
It's something that you think you would see in like a deleted scene, special feature gag reel kind of thing, like where he should have just dropped dead instantly, but in the gag reel you see him like really hamming it up.
Yeah.
But no, they said they were like, oh, it was totally improvised. And I'm like, you fucking think?
I thought.
Like, he comes back twice, he starts kicking the wall.
Maybe it was just like a broken off, like, election sign piece of wood.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't the proper wood. And he's just like, this doesn't work.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he's too strong to be killed and he's fucking with her. But no.
But it was kind of funny, but it was also confusing because
it was very weird.
So, but this part was kind of anticlimactic though. Like
everything was anticlimactic.
She kills Amlin. So
meanwhile,
she talks to Lothos.
Right.
But as
he's playing the violin and he has her like in some weird backwards embrace. But meanwhile, upstairs, Pike and Benny are fighting. And Pike opens his flask and throws what I'm assuming was holy water in his face, but we never see him put the holy water in there. He's never mentioned that it's holy water.
That was a good use of the audience is not dumb.
I'm just saying. I'm guessing it was holy water. And they fight and they slam into the fuse box or the, what's it called now that they're not fucking fuses? The circuit breaker. And all the lights shut out and the music stops. And while Lothos has her in this embrace, the music stops and she's like, oh. And she like somehow comes out of his control. And she was like...
But she was away. She was turned away from him that whole time.
I know, but she's like, Merrick told me about this. When the music stops, I get it now. But then nothing fucking happens. They don't fight. She doesn't kill him. It wasn't like when the music stopped, strike, unless I've missed something. Like the music just stops. I don't get it. And then, like the scene's on right now, here.
But she turned away from him. But she leads him back into the gym, though.
She doesn't.
Yeah, she does. She goes in the gym. She tells somebody to get out of the way. And she goes and gets one of the flags that they use to lock the door.
But I don't think she was intending to lead him into the gym. Okay, he has this red scarf around her, this red silk thing around her neck. He has her neck bent over. He's going to bite her.
Pike throws Benny into a closed breaker box.
Right.
Which shouldn't do anything to
So the power stops and she goes, silence. And she's thinking, and he's trying to get her to look at her. It was like, the rest is silence. That's it. Merrick told me I knew it all along.
I don't get why he just didn't bite her.
The music stopped.
He's standing behind her.
He's still trying to get her to look at him.
Like, just jump in front of her.
And
like,
she says it's too late. He said, you and I are one. She was like, one what? A cute couple? I don't think so. She runs up the stairs. She shows him a cross, and he was like, do you think that's going to do anything? She hits a button, the cross catches on fire, and then she was like, I have my keen fashion sense, takes out a can of Aquanet, and sprays it into the flame and like catches his head on fire, but it kind of goes out really quick. But I didn't understand what the music stopped.
Well, right before that, he pulled the old loser move, like, we're one. We're together forever. And she's like, no, we're not. And he's like, you stupid bitch.
Yeah.
And then she Aquanets him. He just doesn't really faze him.
Like, his skull catches on fire, but he just kind of shakes it off. She runs away. Meanwhile, the principal's up here giving all the dead vampires detention slips.
Yeah, he just doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
He seems dumb or extra, Or maybe that acid trip he had at that concert 20 years ago really fucked him up. But she runs back into the gym, and it's like she doesn't think he's gonna follow her. I really understand.
I didn't really understand either. Like, but she walks in.
She's looking for Pike, and Luthos, like, breaks through the wall, all Kool-Aid Man style.
And he pulls out his samurai sword.
Right, it's very weird.
Which I could see vampires being good with swords. Like, if they lived, Highlander style, they lived for a long time. Swords were the close combat weapon for
But he tells all the other students that he's going to split them open, but he would never hurt her because she's his destiny. And then he throws her on a table. Then she sees the flag and she starts hand-to-hand combat. Eventually has to get a chair. She breaks the leg of the chair and stabs him with the leg of the chair.
Which, it was technically a fight scene, but it wasn't.
And she stabbed him with the chair, and it didn't go far enough in, and he kind of laughed, and then she roundhouse kicked it further in, and he died. And it was so
dramatic.
It was so anticlimactic. I was like, oh, there's no way that killed him. Like, he fell down, and she turned her back, and I was like, okay, now he's gonna get up, right? Like, this is a fake ending, but no, he's just actually dead.
He goes, oops, and then slinks down.
But he's just actually dead. And talking about the fight scene being anticlimactic, it also seems very slow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna punch you, and then I'm gonna move to the right, and you punch me. Like, it seems like it wasn't practiced enough to get it down pat or something.
I mean, they only had $7 million.
Well, it said that they shot it very quickly because it was between seasons of 90210, so maybe it was just shot quick. I don't know, but the fight scenes all seemed slow. The death was anticlimactic. It was just bad.
It wasn't bad. Like I said, the movie as a whole, not for me. But the lore of the Slayer, I would probably read a book about it.
I don't know. I like her as an actress.
When you said we were going to watch Buffy,
Perry.
When you chose Buffy, I immediately was thinking Sarah Michelle Gellar, not, what's her name? Christy Swanson? I wasn't thinking her. I was thinking
Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson.
Which I was like, has she been in any other movies? And I looked her up. She's been in a ton of movies. One of them we're going to have to do later. I added to the list, The Chase. With
Charlie Sheen.
The Chase with Charlie Sheen, where he kidnaps her in a gas station, and she's like, he just has a Butterfinger, he didn't have a gun. She's like, you kidnapped me with a fucking Butterfinger?
So the best part of the whole movie, the credits start rolling. Immediately, there's a credit scene that's the news, or they're interviewing different people that were at the date.
Right.
So the boyfriend's friend is like, it was wild in there. People look crazy. They were saying some crazy stuff. I don't know.
They had this
I think it was the young Republicans.
They had this look in their eyes. They were animals. I think they were young Republicans.
I thought that was funny. And then the principal gets on there and he's just spouting off some random shit.
I think they learned about, protection or something. I don't know. Safety. And then her friend Jenny comes on and she's
with her boyfriend.
She's with the new boyfriend. And he's talking about what happened, and she's crying. She's like, I can't believe I let you do that to me, and just walks away.
You could tell he's kind of hiding something. He's like, when things started going down,
we got out of there real quick.
We were nearby. But...
Right. Yeah.
And she freaks out. Like, I can't believe I let you do that to me.
Yeah. And then Buffy and Pike are just slow dancing themselves in a room full of dead vampires.
Asked for permission, and she said yes.
Sure.
Hey,
seemed
even
like
in
there was
1992, they were asking for permission.
Seems like there was some guilting into going on there.
Coercion.
A little bit. One of those, if you loved me, you would situations.
Oh, Jesus. Nobody, if any young people are listening to this, nobody should fall for that crap.
Oh, but I don't know. I never really got into this. I didn't like vampires. I never watched the show.
A lot of people love the show.
A lot of people really love the show. I just never watched the show. I didn't care. Apparently, this set the stage for the show, and the show, uses this as a prequel, to my understanding, from the limited amount of research I did a minute ago. But technically, it uses, Joss Whedon's original script as a prequel, not this, so a lot of things aren't quite right and don't line up together. Apparently in his original script, she set the gym on fire and killed all the vampires. And Merrick killed himself. Like, Lothos was trying to control his mind to tell him who Buffy was, and he pulled out a gun and killed himself. But all that got changed.
I bet the original script was way better than this.
I don't know. If I was Joss Whedon, I'd fucking take my name off this shit.
Ouch. Ouch. But a lot of people love the show.
A lot of people really love the show. And we do the reviews, and 90% of them are just, I can't believe they even made the show after this movie. I love the show. Don't let this movie influence you not watching the show. And
yeah. And then in the post-credit scene as well as Pee Wee Herman's character Amlin still dying.
Still dying.
Still dying.
Yeah. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 35% from the critics.
Woo!
And a 43% in the audience score.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I know we normally do 1-star reviews, and I did do a couple. Most of them are just, I can't believe somebody even took a chance to make a show after watching this movie. This one, from Xander, who is a character from the Buffy show, I do know that much, gave it 1 star. This Buffy for the movie is narcissistic and not funny. The original series Buffy is personable and a nice person. Be thankful they only made this one bad movie with this horrible Buffy based on a great series. This movie makes me hope Buffy dies. But this movie wasn't based on the series. The series came significantly after. Yeah. And she is narcissistic at the beginning, but she gets better.
She was one of those people I didn't like. But she slowly started to realize, like, certain things are not important and certain things are important. And she started to change. She adapted.
To be fair to her, she is a high school senior, and everybody in high school is a bloody moron.
But she adapted, and her willingness to adapt made her more likable.
Right. This one, on IMDb, 1 out of 10. Utter drivel. I watched this for the first time last week. It was utterly bloody awful. It didn't know if it wanted to be high school satire like The Heathers or a straight vamp movie like The Lost Boys. It tried to be both and just ended up being a mess. And the makeup. What was up with that? The vamps look like Vulcans who are going to a 1980s nightclub. It was the worst vamp makeup in film ever. Whoever thought the idea of camp vampires was a good one should be shot. Paul Rubin's death scene is one of the worst, misguided scenes in movie history. And as for the acting, well, if you had shown it to me before Boys Don't Cry was made and told me Hilary Swank would win Best Actress Oscar one day, I would have laughed at you. How this mess turned into a great TV series, I do not know, but I congratulate Joss Whedon for the feat. I suspect he didn't have much to do with the movie. Oh, and it's got David Arquette in it, so enough said. Apparently they are not an Arquette fan. Apparently not. But I also didn't like this movie. So I mostly agree with the 1-star reviews. So I also screen capped some 5-star reviews.
Okay.
To see, the other side. 5 stars. This is one of the vampire spoof movies, making fun of a wide range of vampire cliches, as well as some fairly minor elements of famous vampire stories, like The Kitten. You do not have to read Bram Stoker's Dracula, or have seen the classic vampire movies from the 30s and 40s, but you'll probably get more of the jokes if you have. You probably do have to remember Valley Girls, or some characters won't be funny. They'll be incomprehensible. Just remember that this movie was produced in 1992. Don't expect 2014 filming techniques. Warning, this is the original movie, not the TV series.
Seemed like they were very well versed in their vampire stuff.
Well, I mean, I've seen, the old Draculas, too. You've met my dad. I mean, that was, they eat cats. They live in coffins. You have to give them permission to come in. I don't know. 5 stars. One of my all-time favorites.
Whoa, I hate this person already.
I thought that was a real serious thing to say, right?
My all-time favorite. I could see it being an all-time favorite if somebody already liked Buffy the series, and just because they like Buffy, they're gonna like the movie.
It said, this may be a bit of a cheeseball film, but it's one of my all-time favorites. I've been watching it since I was in middle school, and the phrases that you pick up from this movie can still stick with you even today. I love the way it was put together, and I think they had a great cast and crew for the comedy in it.
Okay, I take back. I don't really hate that person.
Okay.
Here's what I think of. Because I feel like there are some
They're
movies
vibing
that
off
are...
the nostalgia.
The nostalgia. There are some movies that are terrible that for whatever reason you watched when you were a certain age.
Right.
And like you said, the nostalgia brings them back to that time. So I could see that.
Like, you could show a teenager today Varsity Blues and they could be like, oh my god, this is awful.
And I would punch them in the face.
But it's one of your favorite movies, mostly because of the nostalgia.
But I could see where, like, if that person, like, especially if there was a time in your life where you didn't have cable and you only had like a couple of VHS movies, and you know you basically just put it on to have noise or whatever, you end up like you're tied to that movie forever, like that time period in your life.
This person gave it 5 stars and titled it The Lighter Ages. Looking back on this movie, the airhead slang language was a bit annoying, but it was funny. Why a series was made from this movie, I have no idea. That doesn't seem like a 5-star review to me. Right? I don't know.
More?
Last one. 5 stars. Not to knock the TV series, but I like this movie better.
No.
I like that it's irreverent and sometimes silly. Donald Sutherland and Rutger Hauer in a teen vampire movie? What fun. They each take their roles seriously, lightly, if you can get that. And Paul Rubens as Amlin is hilarious. I like this line. Kill him a lot. Just scary enough at times to get your heart rate up, but generally a great ride. And I screen capped that one because they're the only person that wasn't like, how the fuck did somebody even take a chance to make a TV series? The TV series is so much better. Fuck this movie. But they liked the movie better than the TV show. What you got?
I definitely don't see liking this better than the TV show.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I was like 7 or 8 when I saw it, and I feel like I can probably go another 26 years without seeing it again. Be fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
I remember being so scared though. Like, the guy up against her headboard terrified me. The guy floating terrified me. And even watching it tonight, I was a little apprehensive. I was like, we have to watch this early so I can, like, watch something to clear my palate before I go to bed or I'm going to have nightmares.
You
but
were that?
I will not be having nightmares. I'm good to go.
Can't believe it had that much of an effect on you.
Just the 2 scenes really bothered me. And I do occasionally still think you have to invite vampires in when it's like, 4 a.m. and I'm letting the dogs in.
That's weird. Because I just never thought that was a vampire thing.
I don't know. It stuck with me for some reason.
Like, hey, you got an RSVP if you want to kill me.
Yeah. Well, they're tricky. They're like, vampires are supposed to be like seductive. So they seduce you into letting them in. They convince you it's a good idea.
We're going to have to watch Interview with Vampires. That's a 90s movie, right?
I believe so, yeah. It's a good movie.
I think it's okay.
I mean, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah, but it's one of those things.
Dude,
like,
I don't want to, like, trash a famous old actor. But didn't you think that the main vampire was very just blue?
Yeah, it's kind of...
It was so lackluster. And all of his scenes were so anticlimactic. And he died and I didn't fucking care.
Thank God that's over with.
I didn't think it was over with. I was like, there's no way he's actually dead. That was so just like a fucking walk in the park.
It was okay.
Apparently, it made $16.6 million, so it did make a profit, but apparently nobody liked it when it came out either. They said it gained more popularity after the TV show, but I mean, like, again, I didn't watch the show, but it seems from all the reviews that you can't really put them side by side.
Not too many things... There's not too many I guess you'd call the show a sequel. Go on to be more successful than the original.
Right.
But I think that goes to show that all those producer notes and people, we had a focus group and this is what happened. Well,
Joss Whedon seemed very upset by it. He said he had issues. Donald Sutherland, who played Merrick, kept changing his lines. Other people kept changing things. His script was rewritten. I mean, I've really liked everything else he's done, so I don't want to put this on him, but Jesus Christ. I would get my name off of this.
They tried to appeal to the most people possible and try to, I guess, not offend people. I don't know. But, I mean, if you're going to make something, just fucking make it.
Well, who are they trying not to offend?
I don't know. You said they took out the scene where Merrick shot himself to keep from giving up.
Well, apparently that was because Donald Sutherland said he wouldn't do it. He didn't want his character to die like that.
Well, that's not what we're fucking paying you to do.
I know. I don't know. He said he was hard to work with him.
Well, if it's that hard to work with, like, I know he's a good
Is
actor.
fucking Donald Sutherland?
Fucking get somebody else.
I don't know.
Like, that's fucked up. Like, if you're an actor, you're hired to play a role. You agree to play a role.
Mm-hmm.
You know from the get-go where you agreed to play the role because unless you don't fucking read it. Like, you get the part. You read the script. You know what's going to happen.
I know.
You agreed to get paid to play the role.
I know.
Play it.
I'm just telling you what I read, man.
Like, I feel like... Let's say this movie was never made, the TV show was never made, but now Joss Whedon made it. No way that gets... No way that somebody tells
you're not arguing.
I'm not going to do that.
You're not arguing with Joss Whedon after
like,
he made
bitch,
Avengers.
Open his chest with a big Marvel sign across it.
I really thought he was just going to have, like, the arc reactor in his chest.
Might as well. Like, I feel like had a lot to do with the popularity of all of those Marvel movies.
He also wrote on Roseanne. He was writing on Roseanne when he wrote this movie.
I'm surprised they haven't canceled him already.
I like Roseanne. I've been rewatching Roseanne on Prime. Anything else about Buffy? I like her performance. I like Luke Perry's performance. I like David Arquette's performance. I mean, he's goofy, but that's what he does. But
Pee-wee's was a little off.
Did not like the movie.
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. It was just one of those,
My dad?
But
my dad was real into telling me, do you know who that is? That's Pee Wee Herman. And it fucking destroyed my world.
At first, I was struggling to find it, but I eventually got it.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. It was just one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I would like to have a whole flashback, like Highlander style. This is how the first Slayer started.
Apparently there's some book or graphic novel or some shit you can
There's
go read.
all kinds of stuff. But I don't think if anybody could recommend one that wasn't like one that had more to do with the history than an actual story arc of Buffy. Like, I don't feel like I'd be interested in the story arc of Buffy more than the history.
You know this isn't true, right? This wasn't a documentary?
The lore of, like, Joss Whedon's...
There's no history.
Joss Whedon's inner workings on how he came about with the Slayer story. Well, this is how the first one started. This is what happened.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He probably didn't write that.
But he probably had a good idea to begin with. And he probably has it in his head. There might even be one of those books, like the history of the Slayers, blah, blah, blah.
Well, but apparently a lot of people really were into Buffy, so if you know of any of that.
So we got, obviously, Luke Perry's a rip.
Poor Luke Perry. My heart hurts for Luke Perry.
Rutger Hauer. Who was he in the movie?
Lothos.
So Pike is gone.
My poor Luke Perry. My Dylan McKay.
Yeah, Dylan McKay means nothing to me. I only know from you that it was 90210.
I had the Dylan McKay doll. And the second I got the Dylan McKay doll, Ken had to take a hike.
It was Barbie and Dylan.
It was Barbie and Dylan. Ken had to go on vacation.
Ken had to pay some alimony, apparently.
Yeah. He was done.
Or was, since Barbie was the successful one,
right?
Could Ken have petitioned for alimony?
She didn't care. She didn't care. She was with Dylan now. She would have paid.
So Ken's probably relaxing on the beach somewhere, just getting that check from Barbie all day.
Could be. We about done here.
Say the movie's okay. It didn't really.
It was fine, I guess. I didn't like it.
Nostalgia bone or anything.
No, me either.
But you said it affected you when you were little, so that's got to do something.
It affected me negatively.
But you still had memories of it from...
I had memories of trying to fall asleep while looking into a goddamn mirror. Do you think that's why I'm afraid of mirrors?
I think Doctor Who is why you're afraid of mirrors.
I was afraid of mirrors long before Doctor Who.
No, Doctor Who just made it much more creepy.
I was afraid of mirrors long before Doctor Who.
So I would just say it's It's okay. It's not. I don't like it. I don't hate it.
Give it a 2 out of 5?
2.5.
Okay. Well,
I might throw it a bone and give it a 3. Give it a 3.
You're generous.
What
we got next week?
Let's see. So next up will be Friday the 13th.
Great.
Might watch that movie in a Jason mask. So that's all for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You can follow us on our social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook at Run It Back Pod, and on Twitter at Pod Run It Back. But as always, Instagram is really the most active.
And next week we will do Friday the 13th. This has been Run It Back.
See you next week.